talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. And I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. Yeah. One more time. I want to say it real slow. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. It's Monday. November 24th. Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to set aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. And good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to those listening on Sirius XM, Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. And for the next 3 hours, it's Hot Button Monday. Whatever is on your mind, whatever's in your heart, all you have to do is call me at 1-877-532-5797, or you can go on our message page at www.nationalactionnetwork.net and go to our live stream and send a message as Demetrius Jones is sending. I see Demetrius Jones. Demetrius Jones says, "Good day, Reverend Al. The Lord said he would make our enemies our footstool." And that's right. Demetrius is referring to a federal judge has now thrown out the cases on procedural grounds against New York State Attorney General Tish James and former FBI Director James Comey. And that just happened within the last hour. And it is clear that the government can try to come back in and re-indict him, but it is very, very much a blow to the Trump administration and this whole manipulation of Trump manipulating the legal system to punish and get revenge for his enemies. So it is, as of this minute, Tish James, New York State Attorney General, and the former FBI Director have their cases have been overturned, and I think rightfully so. Same time, we see that the United States and Ukraine are talking about they are making progress in peace talks. The original plan floated by the United States, critics are saying, looked like Russia wrote the plan. And everyone has always talked about how Putin and Trump seem to be almost attached at the hip, and we clearly are seeing evidence of that. In the original proposals, they were saying that they would prefer to have a lot. First of all, they could never join NATO, Ukraine, and that they would prefer not to concede any of the land that Ukraine had taken. And
that all the land should be given back to Russia. Now they're back to the table, and they're working on other issues. At the same time, they are trying to deal with forcing Maduro out in Venezuela. So a lot on the international front. And we're seeing, again, with Venezuela, they're trying to have their way. And Nigeria, there's threats there. We see that there was a school taken by Nigerian outlaws. But it's not all based on religion. They're taking Muslims and everybody. But of course, Trump tries to play it his way, and there's no doubt about it in my mind that he's trying to manipulate it and make it about something that it is not. So a lot is happening. Marjorie Harris Green has resigned, announced her resignation. Marjorie Taylor Greene has announced she'll be resigning in January. And she has started falling out with Trump over the release of the Epstein files. And that came late Friday. And of course, earlier Friday, President Trump met with New York Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani and ended up praising him. Said, I could live in New York under him. I think he can make America great. And, make New York great. A lot of speculation. A lot of people want to know how that happened. He was calling Mamdani a communist, and he was going to cut off funds in New York. Total reverse. Mamdani was on Meet the Press yesterday. They said, well, do you take back calling him a fascist? He said, I don't take back anything I said. So one of the things I respect, Mamdani, who's, been working very closely with us, he'll be at our Thanksgiving giveaway Thursday. One of the things that I respect is he didn't give up nothing. Trump did. And that is the only way to deal with Donald Trump. So I think it's interesting, and we have a lot to talk about. I also wanted to ask this question. And I see Happiness Donuts is on saying, why did she vote for the big, ugly bill? She was so concerned about health care for her children. And she's talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. A lot of people saying you got to do more than just this. And I am agreeable with that. I think it's good to see somebody give an uppercut to Trump, but I'm not convinced of the sincerity. Yet Cedric Cooper is saying there is a crack. They moved it as soon as I started reading it. I'm sorry, Cedric. All right, let me see if we can get it back up. Cedric Cooper. It started moving as soon as okay, there it is. And there it says, and there is a crack in the mega party. Put the resignation of the Congresswoman and others will follow suit in breaking away from Trump. And I think, Cedric, we'll see if that happens. Let me say that it is Thanksgiving Day on Thursday, and I want to ask the question for you that have Thanksgiving gatherings, dinner, family gatherings. What is it you recommend to our listening audience that they try to raise in the discussion this Thanksgiving? A lot of us say we need to talk about the Affordable Care Act. We need to talk about voting. They're trying to take down voting rights, and we'll see where the Supreme Court goes with this decision around Texas. since the federal district court has ruled that the map in Texas was wrong. And this is a Trump appointee, a Trump judge, that said it was wrong. And now they're appealing to the Supreme Court. We need to be discussing that, voting rights. We need to be discussing how we build our families back. All these things. But I want you to tell me what you think is things we need to use Thanksgiving. I think Thanksgiving should be an organizing session. The question is, do we have the wisdom and know how to do it in a way that we don't turn off more people than we turn on, but turn them on? And I think that it is important. And I think it is something that all of us need to lean into. I don't know anybody that, whether we agree with what the Native Americans were treated and done on or not, most of us deal with some form of Thanksgiving. And I think that the Thanksgiving is a time we ought to be using rather than just acting in a way. You know, there were times I said, I'm not dealing with Thanksgiving. I'm not going to say, well, my family was going to do it anyway. And I think that we've got to be able to use this as organizing tool. So let's talk about how and what we should be dealing with over Thanksgiving celebration. Let's take a break. I'll be right back, opening up the phones at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back.
Democratic presidential candidate, Reverend Al Sharpton.
Thank you. Tonight, I want to address my remarks in two parts. One, I'm honored to address the delegates here. Last Friday, I had the experience in Detroit of hearing President George Bush make a speech. And in the speech, he asked certain questions. I hope he's watching tonight. I would like to answer your questions, Mr. President. To our chairman, our delegates, and all that are assembled, we're honored and glad to be here tonight. I'm glad to be joined by supporters and friends from around the country. I'm glad to be joined by my family, Kathy, Dominique, who will be 18, and Ashley. We are here 282 years after, right here in Boston, we fought to establish the freedoms of America. The first person to die in the Revolutionary War is buried not far from here, a black man from Barbados named Crispus Attucks. 40 years ago, in 1964, Fannie Lou Hamer and the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party stood at the Democratic Convention in Atlantic City fighting to preserve voting rights for all Americans and all Democrats regardless of race or gender. Hamer's stand inspired Dr. King's March in Selma, which brought about the Voting Rights Act of 1965. 20 years ago, Reverend Jesse Jackson stood at the Democratic National Convention in San Francisco, again appealing to preserve those freedoms. Tonight, we stand with those freedoms at risk and our security as citizens in question. I have come here tonight to say the only choice we have to preserve our freedom at this point in history is to elect John Kerry, the President of the United States. I stood with both John Kerry and John Edwards over 30 occasions in debates during the primary season. And I rated them, I watched them, I observed their deeds, I looked into their eyes. I am convinced that they are men who say what they mean and mean what they say. I am also convinced that at a time when a vicious spirit in the body politic of this country that attempts to undermine America's freedoms, our civil rights, our civil liberties, we must leave this city and go forth and organize this nation for victory for our party and John Kerry and John Edwards in November. But let me quickly say, this is not just about winning an election. It's about preserving the principles on which this very nation was founded. Look at the current view of our nation worldwide as a result of our unilateral foreign policy. We went from unprecedented international support and solidarity on September 12, 2001, to hostility and hatred as we stand here tonight. We can't survive in the world by ourselves. How did we squander this opportunity to unite the world for democracy and to commit to the global fight against hunger and disease? We did it with a go-it-alone foreign policy based on flawed intelligence. We were told that we were going to Iraq because there were weapons of mass destruction. We lost hundreds of soldiers. We spent $200 billion at a time we had record state deficits. And when it became clear that there were no weapons, they changed the premise for the war and said, no, we went because of other reasons. If I told you tonight to let's leave the fleet center, we're in danger. And when you get outside, you ask me, Reverend Al, what is the danger? And I say, it don't matter, we just needed some fresh air. I have misled you, and we were misled. We are also faced with the prospect of, in the next 4 years, that 2 or more Supreme Court justices' seats will become available. This year, we celebrated the anniversary of Brown versus the Board of Education. This court has voted 5-4 on critical issues of women's rights and civil rights. It is frightening to think that the gains of civil and women's rights and those movements in the last century could be reversed if this administration is in the White House in these next 4 years. I suggest to you tonight that if George Bush had selected the court in '54, Clarence Thomas would have never got to law school. This is not about a party. This is about living up to the promise of America. The promise of America says we will guarantee quality education for all children and not spend more money on metal detectors than computers in our schools. The promise of America guarantees health care for all of its citizens and doesn't force seniors to travel to Canada to buy prescription drugs they can't afford here at home. The promise of America provides that those who work in our healthcare system can afford to be hospitalized in the very beds they clean up every day. The promise of America is that government does not seek to regulate your behavior in the bedroom, but to guarantee your right to provide food in the kitchen.
What was the one we had?
You're live.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host.
Keeping it real.
Reverend Al Sharpton is Hot Button Monday.
Keeping it real.
And we're talking to you about whatever is in your mind, whatever is in your heart. Judge just dismissed the case, federal government, the Trump administration's federal case against New York State Attorney General Tish James and against former FBI Director James Comey. And though they can try and reinstate them under a different indictment, the case has been thrown out. We're talking about that. We're talking about the whole situation with Trump on Friday facing one of the his major supporters, the Marjorie Taylor Greene, deciding that she was going to announce her resignation in January. And we're talking about how Trump seemed to have did a 180-degree turn when he met with Mayor-elect Zoran Mondani in the Oval Office. A lot to talk about. And I've asked the question, what do you think is the thing that you should bring up over Thanksgiving dinner or gathering with your family this week, and how do we do it? And, of course, we're taking your calls at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, or you can go to our message board at nationalactionnetwork.net. Renate Gilmore Malone is saying, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving in the traditional way because it's a lie. Yeah, I agree with you there. They killed and stole from the natives, so I use the day to be thankful for my family, friends, and colleagues. It's simply family time to reflect on being and supporting family. I'm with you on that, Renee. That's why we do what we do on Thanksgiving. And by way of announcements, on tomorrow, you in the New York area that need a turkey for Thanksgiving, we giving them away at as we do every year. I believe in family gatherings. I don't celebrate what happened to the Native Americans, but I do realize that children grow up and want to be like their friends. And so we give away turkeys, hundreds of turkeys, 5 o'clock at the House of Justice in Harlem, 145th Street, Lenox Avenue. I'll be there 5 sharp and give out as many turkeys as people come. I'll be there starting at 5. Then on Thanksgiving Day, we feed hot meals, have hot meals, and talk about the issues. Hundreds come, and it is at the House of Justice. We start 11 a.m., at the House of Justice, 145th and Lenox. I'm expecting the mayor-elect and others help serve the meals on this Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. Then we're going to Brooklyn, and we're going to be distributing meals there. So going to Harlem and to Brooklyn on Thanksgiving Day. We did it last year in the two boroughs, and we're going to make it happen again. Brooklyn will be at 1 o'clock, and I think that people should and could help to serve. We'll be at 12 noon. They're going to start in Brooklyn. I'll get there at 1 at the John Wesley United Methodist Church, 260 Quincy Street. So 11 o'clock at the House of Justice in Harlem, and then 1 o'clock in Brooklyn at the John Wesley United Methodist Church. Don't forget, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live every Saturday and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I will be on this weekend live as I was on yesterday and day before. I'll be right on top of all these issues. And I will be at the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice, Saturday morning, 9 to 11. So if you've got relatives coming to town for Thanksgiving and they staying for the weekend, bring them up to the Saturday rally. Let me meet them and let them experience what the Saturday Action Rally is. All right, let's go to the phones. It's Hot Button Monday, 1-877-532-5797. Let's start with my dear friend from Chicago, the one and only beloved Miss Eunice. Miss Eunice, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Good afternoon, Rev. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I continue to pray for Reverend Jackson and family.
Yeah. I stay in daily touch with the family, and he's stable, remaining the same.
Yes. And I say, Reverend, Thanksgiving is every day you wake up.
Right.
I try to serve when I can, and it's nice to get together with your family and friends because some of us live far apart and we don't get to see each other. So that's my take on that. And it makes my blood boil to hear Trump say some elected officials should be put to death about what they said about the illegal orders. What does he know? He's a draft dodger and what you call him, Mr. Spur.
Wow.
And but he started a whole lot of things because he was lying. He asked Georgia's Secretary of State to find more votes, and he did everything he could to disrupt the certification of the vote by Vice President, and they beat up Capitol Police and others. And I don't know where this man comes from, but he is the worst I've ever seen. And also, let's not forget what he tried to do in Ukraine to get them to go along with the lie about Biden. Am I correct on that?
That's correct. Mm-hmm. That is correct.
And Juliana lied for him and ruined the lives of Shay Moss and Miss Ruby. I'll never forget that. And Pam Bunny looks like she is hyped all the time. And I will say, enough said, and you take care, and I'll talk to you on Friday.
All right, I'll be looking forward, and I will be here on Friday. Thank you for your call. Always good to hear your voice, our beloved Miss Eunice. Let me go to Don in New Orleans. Don, you're keeping it real on Hot Button Monday. I don't hear Don.
Hello?
Yes, I hear you now.
Yes, the Reverend Al, the indigenous name, the original name, if you will, of New Orleans is Bobanca, which means land of many tongues. The indigenous, long before the Europeans, thousands of years before the Europeans settled and named it New Orleans after the Duke of Orleans. The indigenous was trading and furs and cultural exchange as well. And that's why we had the Black Mexican Indians, because it's a homage to the indigenous who took in the captive slaves, if you will, and they intermarried and everything. everything. So I hope that we can continue to get full citizenship in these tribes, the Choctaw, Cherokee. I think we have full membership and voting rights, and these 5 civilized tribes let the black freedmen get their full citizenship. And one other thing I want to mention is this voting right, this remapping of these congressional districts. And under the Voting Rights Act of 1965, Section 2, there is a legal test that has to be passed called the totality of circumstances.
Yeah, but that is where the contesting of Section 2 is in front of the Supreme Court. And one of the things, I'm glad you brought that up, and I'll let you finish. One of the things that I'm saying, Don, is the Supreme Court is in a pickle. I had Damon on Politics Nation last night, Damon Hewitt of the Lawyers Committee, and I said this to him. If the Supreme Court hears this case, they've stayed to decide whether they're going to hear it. If they hear this case and they say that the district court is wrong and that the Texas can, in fact, go with the 5 district changes, and that they're wrong, then that means that the courts are opening the door for redistricting all over the country. If they say that the district court is right and that it was racially drawn, because the district court said that there was racism there, then how do they overturn Section 2 when they come back? So they may decide not to hear this case, because I don't see how they can get out of this clean. But we'll see. Hold on a minute, Don. I'm going to take my break. I'll come back to you. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Joining James Brown, Muhammad Ali, and myself now from New York City is the Reverend Al Sharpton. And Mr. Brown, James, I'd like to ask you about this young man, how you came to meet him, and what the National Youth Movement, which he represents, is all about. Tell me something about that.
Teaching young kids the right way to go, and the things to be involved in education. Don't be a dropout, which is one thing I'm very much behind. Unless kids have guidance, they have no place to go. And the idea is to try to mold them. I mean, we think of anything, we think of it as a baby. And what we mold them to be is what it will be later on. He used to stand at my back door, and he believed in what I said, the Don't Be a Dropout program, and the fact of helping kids and giving them the right idol and the right image to go with, cleaning, grooming, and wanting to work, wanting to be something. I started as a kid, a juvenile delinquent, and everything. Had no model. And I was able to be a model for a young man like this. And what he turned out to be is a minister, and he preaches the right thing, and I'm for him 1,000%. I'm for everything he's about.
Mr. Sharpton, how national right now is the National Youth Movement? Is it something new? Has it been going on for a while? Do you have a stated number of members? Tell me something about it.
Well, we don't really get into a numbers game, because that's been a trick that has been played for the last 20 years. What we're basically interested in doing is saying to young people of impoverished backgrounds that there are people like a Muhammad Ali and a James Brown that represents hope to us. Because these people, despite all of the social odds, despite the unemployment statistics, despite the lack of education in their day, were able to grow and be something that we can be proud of. A man like me didn't have a father at home, but I had a James Brown to look up to and would want to sing and dance like him, or Muhammad Ali, who I saw stand up and give away millions of dollars of stamps to the government so that I would have a right to come 10 or 20 years later and try to fight for my kids. So what we're saying is there are symbols and images that kids can look up to and not have to throw a brick through a window, but that can work by the sweat of their brow and succeed, just like these two gentlemen did.
But considering the numbers of young kids today, and Rev, there are hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of kids who really are in hopeless and desperate situations, is it enough to just offer them an example?
You say hopeless, though. Not hopeless.
Well, let's say, well, to them, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids,
it's never hopeless. There's no such thing as hopeless. It's never hopeless. When I got 8 to 16 years for breaking and entering as a kid, because I was hungry, and here I am today, it's not hopeless. Don't say hopeless. Then we're carving out. I don't believe in hopeless. Don't you think it's hope? If you believe in something, try. No such hopeless. I don't believe in hopeless. We're not going to go with that. And I think he's not about teaching them how to get out and fight for themselves. That's what it's about. No, it's not hopeless. Everybody has a cause and everything, but everybody want to live. And I think living is what we're about. We're not going to teach dying. Hopeless is dying.
Okay, I agree with you 100%, James. But what I'm trying to ask here is simply saying you too can be a James Brown or a Muhammad Ali. Is that enough to give a kid who's hungry, who doesn't know where his next meal is coming?
I'll say it.
Give him somewhere to go.
I think it's awful weak to tell a kid you can be a James Brown, one of the greatest entertainers in the world, and me, one of the greatest fighters. And like you said, the hundreds of thousands of millions of kids that need a break. You can't have that many great people, but they can get educated. They can go to school. They can learn. I'd like to say one thing. We have crime today. It's a big problem. I think they took a national vote on what the people want the government to spend most of the money on, and crime was over national defense. Worrying about Russia, China, outside enemies, they're worrying about inside crime. We have crime today, all type, prostitution, murder, exploitation, degradation, and wars of all kinds. And I'm gonna tell you why everything's happening. And I think if you're intelligent, you agree with it. If we were riding an airplane and the two pilots died for some reason, is there anybody in this room that can go in the cockpit, pick up the radio, start working it, bring the plane in, depressurize it as a land, and make it, and late at night on a stormy day? You couldn't do it.
Right.
Well, but if you learn how to fly, or if they show you how to fly, you can. Since God made the world and God made us, He sent the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, sent Moses, Jesus, Noah, to show us how to run the world. And God left His laws. If we don't follow His laws, then we crash.
Let me say this, though, Mr. Snyder, in response to your question to Mr. Brown, Mr. Ali. Yes, it is enough to begin with showing them an example, because before you get to education, you need motivation. If you don't have motivation to get out of the bed, you won't make school or the party. And what we try to do by showing a James Brown or Muhammad Ali is not that you can be a great champion maybe like Ali or a great entertainer like James Brown, but if you use the same initiative that they did to make him get up 5 in the morning and run 10 miles and just have a dream, and to come back 3 times and accomplish that dream, to have more hits than anybody in the world, even when the music world wouldn't give him credit for it in terms of a James Brown. If you had that initiative to keep working at whatever it is that you're going to do, you can succeed. And what we're saying to them is you may not reach the plateau of public prominence of them, but if you can reach the personal discipline and personal motivation of them, you can reach a plateau in your life. Because it's not about looking for a government handout, it's about looking for a way out, as James Brown said.
All right, and then how receptive are the young people that you tell this to?
Very receptive.
Really?
Very receptive. Very receptive. I think that people have misunderstood that most people of impoverished and depressed areas are not looking for the government to give them something. They just want a chance. I remember when I was a little boy, James Brown used to sing, I don't want nobody to give me nothing, just open the door, I'll get it myself. Well, that's all people want now is a chance. Let me get a piece of the action. Let me get a piece of the pie. Let me stand up on my own.
All right, at one
Man should have the major corporations, the government, should get behind him and push the programs that he's about.
Except maybe if he does it himself and gets grassroots support, it's better than having the government stick their nose in, because they have a way sometimes.
We're not talking about
of,
control.
Yeah.
We're not talking about control. We're talking about a way of start. You know, they have to start. If they fund Chrysler and fund all these different other things, they can fund a small man to get started. Then the private sector will join in, but let them help too. It should be.
Last thing. Somewhere along the line here tonight, we used a graphic saying long, hot summer. Are you in any way, I'm certain you're not predicting a long, hot summer. You're not predicting urban strife. You're not predicting disorder, anything like that.
Well, what I'm saying is, you know, at home you have an oven. There are flames on top of the oven, and then there's heat in the oven. We always discuss whether there'll be a flame on the top, and don't discuss it. There's already 600 degrees inside. I'm not concerned as much about a long, hot summer because it's been a long, hot winter. Yeah. People are unemployed.
Okay.
People are unemployed. People are getting their homes ripped off. Parents' pocketbooks being snatched. As Ali said, crime is at the highest rate it's ever been. So rather than us running around the street looking for a brick, we should be looking at the fact the brick.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real.
How do we get the brick?
Keeping it real.
Hot Button Monday. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Let's go back to Don in New Orleans. Go ahead, Don.
Yes, sir. And thank you for your indulgence, Reverend Al. And So the totality of the circumstances is a series of legal tests they have to pass. Not it's mainly race, but also socioeconomic. The impact that not voting has on education, economics, jobs. For instance, black women are the most educated group in America, probably the world, more likely, more educated than white men, white women, more educated than Hispanic men and women, more educated than Asian men and women, and more educated than black men. And yet, you had hundreds of thousands of qualified black women being let go, furloughed, or fired from the federal government. Because in the federal government, when Barack Obama was in office, he passed, I think it was called the Ledbetter Act, where the woman who was working for Goodyear, she was a manager, but she found out she was getting paid 80% to a dollar to a white man. Well, black women received, I think, 72 cents for every dollar a white man on for doing the same job or higher. A white male high school dropout makes more than a black woman with a master's degree. That's all a part of the totality of circumstances when you're talking about further removing, further pushing back the issue of Voting Rights Act protections in Section 2 and gutting Section 5. So we have to look at the total. It's a series of boxes that has to be checked. Not one can be unchecked or say fail. All of them have to say pass. All the boxes that be checked to fulfill the Voting Rights Act of 1965, all the boxes have to be checked in order for the full measurement of the act and the goodwill of the people will be passed. So I just wanted to say that. And MSN now, it looks tighter, it looks sharper, Reverend Al.
All right, thank you for that. Thank you for your call. And let me, I see, it's P-A-U, I'm trying to pronounce this on our live stream, saying, look at Elders James and Ali. And our live stream is playing a tape from 1982 where James Brown and Muhammad Ali took me on the Tom Snyder Show saying that what we were doing was important. Evangelist Ramsey saying on our live stream message page, good afternoon, Reverend Al, you good? I'm good. Hit hot button Monday. It's getting hot out here. My sister Michelle from Atlanta chapter will be at the House of Justice December 6th. Great. I'll be glad to see you. I will see you bagging up the big birds tomorrow at the House of Justice. Well, I'm certainly look forward all the time for Evangelist Ramsey. She's one of the critical activists of our community, and she's always on the case, and I'll look for her to help us tomorrow. Let's go to Rick in Germany. Rick, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton on Hot Button Monday.
Hot Button Monday it is, Brother Sharpton. Good day.
Good day.
First of all, I'd like to wish all of you there in America who use Thanksgiving as family time, I'd like to wish you all the best without forgetting the poor this year. Second, I hope you all will remember the Native Americans and their incredible struggle to survive, not only on the reservations, but in the cities and rural areas across America. And third, last but not least, the rape and war in Congo and Sudan must stop, and the Congo River must be turned into hydroelectric power. That river is strong enough to supply power not only to the Democratic Republic of Congo, but a couple of other nations as well. Brother man, I'm done.
All right, thank you for your call and for your contribution. Let me say, as we're taking these calls, I'm still want some people to give me some advice that they can give people listening around the country on what they need to discuss, what you need to put on the agenda on your family day, on Thanksgiving Day. So I haven't heard anybody address that yet. Let's go. Oh, wait, I think Ms. Eunice did bring up something. All right, let's go to Demetrius in Cleveland. Demetrius, 1-877-532-5797. Demetrius.
Thank you, Reverend Sharpton.
Thank
Always
you.
nice speaking to you. I believe, first of all, concerning what I think some people, if they want to bring up concerning Thanksgiving, you know, a good topic to bring up is about the morality of this country. You know, it's spoke in the past, you know, it seemed to be going toward, you know, people can feel they can do what they want to, you know, by whatever means, you know, if they want to move up in society when it comes to, with immigration, this administration, break all the laws, arresting people. When it comes to accusing people like with Comey and Letitia James without anything based on facts. You know, I believe important people sit at the table and not to get caught up, you know, in this malaise, you know, starting with this administration. I think it's okay for even the average citizens, you know, to do what they want to and not respect other people's property and other people's rights. Because it all goes back to, you know, love thy neighbor as yourself. So people have to get back to the basics. And also have to get involved with in the political process as well. Because of not being involved in the political process, a lot of people fell victim to some of the budget cuts. You know, when it comes to the SNAP program, when it comes to housing, when it comes to attack on Medicaid and so forth. So in a way, it's a wake-up call that people should really get involved and they should try to make a pledge this coming year to become more political conscious and attend some of their city council meetings, keep in touch with their Congress representatives and the issues going on so they would not be taken for granted. The next time the budget is up to being ratified. And also I'd like to speak concerning the political asylum, because I heard Donald Trump want to categorize Venezuela as a terrorist state.
Right.
You know, and like you know, he want to like Somalia is supposed to be in Haiti and so forth. Well, if that's the case, well, how can you have a right to send immigrants back? Because I thought under this country law, if immigrants are here for a political asylum, this country usually takes them in. So I don't see how you can justify sending people back to the country, but his life is threatened. You know, so to me, it's counter the American law. You know, to me, it's unjustifiable because some of their lives will be threatened if they do go back by the different groups there, and sometimes even by the government itself. You can't just be partial and letting people come in from other countries who we want to come here, you know, and grant them political asylum. But yet, people from South America, people from the Caribbean, people from Africa, he don't want to grant them political asylum, even though they're coming from the same conditions, under oppression on the countries they left. And lastly, concerning Ukraine, I believe the Ukrainian president shouldn't give up no land back to the Soviet Union, because that's giving in to what Putin wants, and it's not going to solve the problem. Because the same thing happened in World War II. They gave in to Hitler when it came to Crimea. They thought it was going to stop him from acquiring land. It didn't stop him. All he did was just invaded Poland afterwards. Because once he knew he can do what he wanted to, and the rest of Europe was going to compromise with him instead of stand up to him, he went on. So it's just a bomb. It's not going to solve the problem. It's going to give our Soviet Union more initiative to do what they want to, and it shows Trump leaning toward favoring dictators, not justice.
All right. Thank you for your call. On our message board, Taniqua Wembley is saying people should discuss the importance of staying open-minded, focus on solidifying your foundation, and staying true to who you are. Now, that's a great piece of advice. Great piece of advice. You would be surprised the amount of young people that really don't have that kind of self-confidence. Find out who you are. Talk to your young people in your family gatherings about them and how they navigate life. I love that. Thank you for your call. And thank you for your message. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Sharpton, Hot Button Monday. Be right back.
So good. That was beautiful. Thank you, everyone. I am humbled and grateful to be here with you tonight. I love you too. I love you too. It seems like I've known Reverend Al Sharpton all my life. My mom was such a fan of his, and I've seen him through my life in LA at MCA Records. When I was there, he'd come through, you know, and get those people straight about our contracts and talk about that. And I haven't been honored a lot. Maybe this is my second time, and I'm 68 years old. And I've been in this business my entire life. I've never done what you would call a real job. But I am truly honored, and I'm thankful, and I love us. I love my black people. And I fight for us, and I want the women, the black women, to really know their worth. Know that they're queens. That's important to me. That's how my mother raised me. My mother was militant, I guess, when it wasn't trendy, yes. Because when I was a little girl, my mother and father would drive in Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, do or die. And when she would see police officers handling black children or a black boy or a girl, she would have my father stop and say, she'd get out of the car and she'd say, "What's going on here? Wait a minute, what you doing?" All the time. So it's natural that I'm that way because I'm so tired of seeing our black men beaten with handcuffs. They have handcuffs on. That's important to me. That's my fight. I want love in this world. We're living in some, I love you, I love you. I never knew love like this before. I can't sing because we just finished doing 3 shows back to back. And I flew in this morning and because Reverend Al wanted me to sing home. There's no way I could sing home, but okay. When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home. I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. When that makes us a tall grass bend into leaning, suddenly the raindrops that fall have a meaning. Sprinkling the sea makes it all clean. But thank you. Thank you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I love you. I love you with my life.
Stephanie Mills. Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're gonna have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we're still marching. And I'm gonna keep marching, I'm gonna keep agitating, and I'm gonna keep going. Until we don't have to do it anymore. Eddie, known you a long time, Mariah, Chris and your kids. And I promise you this, the only thing that I really live for is I get up with this dream that every bigot, every racist, everyone in this country that hates will say, damn, he's up again. No justice! No justice! 62 years ago today, Martin marched in Washington. 62 years later, the dream is not dead.
I'm here because I must be here. Democracy is not there for the pig, and you have to fight for democracy. That's what it is. What Trump will erase, we will replace.
It's the dreamers in many cases have reversed and tried to turn it into a nightmare. We come to Wall Street rather than Washington this year to let them know you can try to turn back the clock, but you can't turn back time. We gonna keep the dream alive on Wall Street.
It's been a long time coming, but I know.
1968, Dr. Martin King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of Nash Action Network to always in the am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and it is Hot Button Monday. And talking about a lot going on since. And FBI Director James Comey, they can be re-indicted, of course, given this administration, but it is a major blow to them, in my opinion. And, of course, we're watching the escalation in Venezuela. We're watching also what is going on in Ukraine. And I'm taking your calls. I'm asking you, what is it you would like to see discussed? How will you do it on Thanksgiving Day? A lot of us agree I'm not with the genocide perpetrated on the Native Americans. I'm not celebrating that. But it is a family day. For us, we'd be feeding people all day at the House of Justice and giving out turkeys tomorrow. But it's also an opportunity to talk about what's going on and find a way to get your family engaged. Because most of us have families that are not engaged at all. So I'm taking your calls on this XL, on Hot Button. It's not XL, it's Hot Button Monday, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, and you will be heard nationwide. All right, let me go to, we are going to kick off as we do our second and third hour with the Democratic strategist, founder, and CEO of Blueprint Strategies, LLC, the one and only Antoine Seawright. How you doing, Antoine?
Great Monday to you, Reverend Al.
And great Monday back at you. And you certainly in my prayers and sympathy. I don't know if you want to say, but you had a experience that no one wants to have.
Yeah, Rev, at 11:20, which is November 20th at 8:20 p.m. My father transitioned from labor to reward, but I am so thankful that he was able to see all four of his children and my mother, who they were together for 51 years.
Wow.
He was able to see all of us through, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for so many people who reached out from all over the country and across the world.
Well, you certainly put me on that list, and I can tell from you he did a great job of setting a standard for his children and your three siblings, and you have vindicated what he invested by what y'all have gone forward in life. How will you want your father remembered?
Well, I want him to be remembered by the work he done. Down here in the South, as you know, Reverend Al, there's always a song that pops up at every funeral that says, "May the work I've done speak for me."
Right.
And my dad was father, husband, grandfather, brother, uncle, and all those things, but he was a soldier who put on that uniform and retired with 40 years of service to his country. He did something with not a lot of
other folks had the guts, including myself, to do, and served us and our community in a way. And I'm just thankful for his service to his family, to this country, and to the community, and more importantly, teaching the lesson, as you've done, Reverend Al, as my friend and mentor Jim Clyburn has done, as others, that every generation will have its sets of challenges, but every generation will have its opportunity to leave this world better than they found it. And that was my dad's creed, and I appreciate him for instilling that in me and all of us.
All right. Well, that's a great eulogy in and of itself from his son. Let me ask you, putting on your political hat, because knowing you, you're going to keep working through this. What is how do you interpret the federal judge dismissing the indictments against Tish James and James Comey? What does it mean? We know that they can try to come back and indict him with another technicality, but what does this mean, and how significant, if at all, is this?
Well, for folks who have been living in fear about the political complications and ramifications of this Trump presidency and this right-wing extreme group of people who make up the majority in Washington, there's still a safety fin in this country and guardrails called the rule of law in the courts. And although the courts have not been overly favorable to us and they have not shown us a lot of flavor, if you will, still justice can and will prevail because the rule of law stands and will stand after Trump. Now, I will say, Reverend Al, I was a little bit not surprised because there was baseless and no real concrete, if you will, dried up, or no calcification of a real thought process around these lawsuits other than political retribution, which Trump promised on day one. And I think that was probably one of the real reasons why these cases were dismissed. We saw the investigation by the mortgage company, Fannie Mae, I think it was, that showed that Tish James had did nothing wrong. And the fact that the president had campaigned on getting back at James Comey certainly gave any judge the right to throw out the case because it's political retribution. And so, Reverend, as I said on Politics and Nation this weekend, I think America, and particularly the Republican Party, parts of it, are now starting to buckle and rethink what life after Donald Trump is going to look like. I think the courts and some of the judges who serve are also thinking in that mindset. And so I think we're going to see a new sense of normalcy to some degree with some of these things. And I think this is one example of what life could look like with people who do not fear Trump or Trumpism anymore.
And the judge just also came back with another decision that the judge has now ruled that interim U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan was unlawfully appointed. That just broke. And she's the one that went in, indicted Comey when the other U.S. attorney that was there said there was no evidence to indict him. There was no one in the Virginia district that she was acting U.S. attorney that would even appear and sign on the indictment. The same with Tish James. So now not only has the judge overruled the indictments, he is saying she was unlawfully appointed, which points directly to Donald Trump.
It points to Donald Trump and his minions. And the fact of the matter is, Reverend, now what we have to do, we, those of us who believe in the rule of law, those of us who know this extremism will cause this country to overheat in the short and the long term, we have to make certain that we keep pushing these battles to the court when he acts unlawfully. And so even if we lose, nothing beats failure but a try, as our grandparents taught us. And so we've got to do our best to make up ground where we can't hold ground politically in the Congress, at state legislative level, and so forth. We have to push these battles to this court and force them to fight us in the courts on the merit and on the facts.
And the fact of the matter is that you can't blink. Donald Trump, I've always said it because I've fought him for 40 years, is a bully. And if you go ahead and fight him or stand up to him, look at how he just cowered to Zoran Mandani. And as everybody knows, it was in the press that Mandani called me the night before the meeting for advice. I told him, just hold your ground. Don't be provoked. Don't let him get you acting wild. Just take the high road. Stay right there. You there for the people of the city. And he said, I'm not backing down. and he didn't. And Trump turned his whole thing around. Well, no, I don't. I think I could live in New York under him. He's going to do great things. The same now with these judges are slapping back, saying he unlawfully set this prosecutor, Halligan, in that seat. And that what they're doing is wrong. Now, I'm sure that the administration try to come back with something, but it's already discredited and it will go back and forward. How significant, let me ask you this and we're going to break, how significant is the resignation, announcement of a resignation by Marjorie Taylor Greene? And how significant is it? And do you think that this is beginning to show cracks in MAGA land? I want to take my break and let you answer it on the other side, because that one nobody saw coming. By the time I saw what Zoran had done to White House, Marjorie Taylor Greene took the oxygen out the room. Let's talk about that. At Bud Monday, you on the phones, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back.
Hello, New Orleans. Let me tell you straight. They did not think we could come and be here tonight. They cut budgets and advertising, but one black man, Rich Newt Dennis, said, I don't care. My families come together every 4th of July weekend, and Essence will happen, because that's who we are. Give a big hand to Rich Newt Dennis for bringing us back. The essence of who we are is essential to what made this nation. We built this nation. We made this nation. We created the essential dollars that this nation lives off of. We don't care what bill they pass. We will not back up. We will not back down. We will not give in. We will not be chased out. We don't care who's in the White House. We gonna organize our house by house. We came over the Middle Passage. We survived slavery. We survived Jim Crow. Don't you give up now. Don't you turn back now. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. Reclaim your dignity. Reclaim your place. So we stand with the Global Black Economic Forum. We stand with Essence Magazine, because that's who we are. So don't give in now. Yes, it's some rough days, but we've been through rougher days than this. Yes, Trump is a bad dude, but we beat badder dudes than Trump. So let's party with a purpose, because our rhythm and our music reminds us who we are, because we can smile through our pain and organize for our gain. Let's stand up and let's celebrate who we are. Thank you, God bless you.
Everything step I take, you will be there. Everything step I make. Whew. Thank you so much. I was thinking I was going to prepare a speech, but I can't read those things anymore. Name's Babyface, not Baby Body. But I wanted to, you made me sound so good with those words. I was like, that was me? I was like, when I look at my life and I think of the music and everything that I've done, I used to say that I don't know where it came from. I don't know where the words come from. I don't know where the music comes from. I don't know how I got here where I am, but that's not true. God got me here. This is and it becomes more clear to me every day that's why I'm here. And I don't even know how I ended up standing here, except for the fact that I ran into Al at the Essence. He was walking in the room, and I said, I got to go say hello. And he said, I want to honor you. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah, I want to honor you. I said, really? Yep. And here I am standing here, and I can well, thank you. I always want to do this, Michael. I love you too. Sorry. But I think of moments like this, I can't help but just think of how proud my mom would be for me standing here. I have to say that just to be standing here and to be invited by Al Sharpton, and I want you guys to really think about this man who invited me here and how he has been fighting the fight for us all of these years. I don't think we give him enough credit. I don't think we give him enough love. Sometimes you just get used to people and you think, well, that's just Al. No. He's more than that. I want y'all to give him really love. Come on, let's give him. It's very true. Because I can remember times, I'm 67 years old, I can remember times in Indianapolis, Indiana. Yeah, it's true, I'm 67. And I can remember times in Indianapolis when I was growing up, and there were places before I was 5 years old that I could not go to because I was black. And I remember how civil rights, how that changed everything for me and for my life, and that I'm standing here today because of all of those changes, and I was able to do the kind of music that I do and do everything because those things happened. And so for me to accept an award like this, because I've never gotten an award like this before, and so I really appreciate it, and I'm just so thankful, and I thank my mom for giving me the sense to always be humble with my life and to never think that it's all about me. And so like I said, I didn't prepare a speech. I always just wanted to speak from my heart. And I'm speaking from my heart, and I want to tell you once again, Al Sharpton, you are a blessing to us all, and I thank you for inviting me for this, and thank you so much. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
And I think that is extremely important about the funding. But I also want to add how they are changing what can be taught. You have states outright saying you can't teach black history and you can't teach certain other histories and the curriculum. You have this administration that is literally taking out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes blacks. We want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight in the courts and the streets, because they're literally changing the textbooks as we go. As they do that, they change the opportunities, because then the fight against affirmative action is not having access to these institutions and telling these institutions, this whole fight around DEI, which they did, started in Harvard, where a black woman think about feminism. Started with them saying, you can't teach the person keeping it real. Reverend Al Sharpton, Antoine Seawright is our co-host. Antoine, let me ask you, what about Marjorie Taylor Greene? Is it any political significance? Is it optics? Is it that she's planning to split MAGA? How do you read this?
I think it's a couple of different things. I think it's one, as I shared with you on Saturday on the program, the tectonic political plates are shifting in the Republican Party. And as the Republican Party is trying to decide what and who it wants to be when it grows up. When I say grows up, meaning life after Donald Trump, you're starting to see some fracture in the bone, but you're also starting to see some meat come off the bone with members of Congress voting for the Epstein files and people getting comfortable, not necessarily, being forced to cuddle and play footsie politically with Donald Trump. I think that's one aspect. Two, and I want to say this on the program, but I want to be safe for time, is that Donald Trump is not principled in anything other than principled around whatever Trump wants it to be. That's the difference between he and like a true Kool-Aid drinker, a true believer in the America First movement, like Marjorie Taylor Greene. And Trump will waffle, and Trump will do what's in the best interest of Donald Trump, i.e. Zohran Mamdani, and their cuddle and footsie section he tried to play. Whereas Marjorie Taylor Greene, whether it's on immigration, whether it's on keeping jobs at home, whether it's on taxes, whether it's on health care, she's a very principled person and a believer. And I think you see that playing out in the Republican Party. And I think that is the reason why you see the fracture or the division between the two of them. And so she's saying, you know what, I'd rather leave on my principles and stand core to my values as a conservative versus be a pop-up populist like Donald Trump has been with this MAGA movement. And then the other aspect, Reb, I think is very much so true, is Marjorie Taylor Greene, although she represents a Republican district, she represents a rural, poor, white Republican district. So when you see her talking about health care premiums skyrocketing and you're talking about SNAP, that is living life proof that all the aspects that they try to paint the picture about some of these programs that come from the federal government and state government that only a certain segment of the population benefit from, her fight for those programs is a demonstration that that's not the reality out here in America. And so the affordability conversation, the health care premiums, the SNAP benefits, those things largely impact her district. And finally, Reb, I'm not sure if you saw the article, but it's been reporting today that there are going to be several other Republican members of Congress who are getting ready soon to make announcements because they do not want to have to be forced to live up under Trump's rule for the next 2 years.
I did see the article and anxiously waiting to see who. There seems to be a slow but I'll say moving awareness among some Republicans that Trump is going to be gone in 3 years and that they need to start being concerned about the midterms and I mean their future. I mean, I think that clearly there are some in the Republican Party that is saying, wait a minute, we're not going to die with Trump.
Well, I think too. I also think that they want to have a political life after Donald Trump,
right,
and have to get back to some sort of an agenda that does not include extremism, hate, right-wing, racist rhetoric, red meat rhetoric. And so when you think about the fact that the electorate is changing by the day, if you look at what happened in Ruby Red, Georgia, electing two public service commissioners statewide in Georgia. You look at what happened in Battleground, Pennsylvania, and some of the other places a few weeks ago on the November 2025 elections. They're like, wait, we can't die on this sword. And Donald Trump understands that. That's why that meeting with Zoran Mandani went a lot different than people expected. He knows the affordability conversation is where he has failed. He knows Maganomics has been a failure. He knows he was elected on getting things done from an economic bill of health standpoint, and those things have not happened. And you can't find an elected official anywhere in the country, Democrat, Republican, black, white, brown, anything in between, that are not talking about the affordability conversation across the board, particularly when it comes to prices on everyday goods and services.
Let's go to the phone. Let's go to Ronnie in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Ronnie.
Hey, Rev, how you doing, sir?
Good.
It's always good to talk to you, and I want to just first say, man, that I love you, and I am an Al Sharpton junkie. I see you on MSNBC every day. I listen every Saturday. Me and my wife been up there a couple times, and we tended to march on Washington and march on Wall Street.
Wow.
I just can't get enough. Now, a couple months ago, I called you. I told you that I was holding a rally outside of Trenton State Prison on international wrongful conviction that 40 years earlier, I was sentenced to Trenton State Prison, death row, innocent. And 40 years later, I'm outside of the prison protesting wrongful convictions.
Right.
And really, really want to get Nan's help in this last stretch of my exoneration.
Where are you at in the exoneration now? Where are you at in the process?
I'm either one of two. Either the New Jersey Conviction Review Unit, which I told you they received 600 applications and only exonerated 2 people for the whole state in 7 years. And I'm also in the governor's office. I was advised by the governor's chief counsel, Paramount Garg, to file a pardon petition because he also got a hard time runaround from the CRU. So my case is in the governor's office for pardon, but not for a second chance type of pardon. Mine is for a pardon of innocence. And I've well pled my case. I usually speak for everybody else. And that's where I am now in this exoneration process. It should not have taken this long, Rev. I've been home since May 1st, 2019. And I had the first hearing at the CRU in September 2019. I was accompanied by former Governor Jim McGreevey. And he saw firsthand, I took the receipts. I was railroaded to death row. And I spent 37 years in prison, innocent. And I testified at my trial, and I testified before the New Jersey State Parole Board. They believed me. I spent 10 hours on the stand in my trial, and I spent about 5 hours before the New Jersey State Parole Board, and they believed me, Rev. That's all that mattered when I went before that parole board. First time they denied me because I wouldn't say I did the crime. And then 4 years later, they believed me, and all they could do was grant parole. They weren't in any position to exonerate me. So that's where I am in the process. But I want to shine a spotlight on, I'll call it 600 New Jersey families. I represent the 600 who filed for review from the Conviction Review Unit. And again, only 2 were exonerated. I represent all 600 of them.
No, we need to jump on this. It's ironic you say it because I was with former Governor McGreevey this morning. I did a Get Out the Vote rally in Jersey City this morning. Literally just left him when I came to do the show. Pick up the phone from Ronnie. Y'all give me his number direct, and let me get somebody on this to follow this up. And Ronnie, I'll make sure we're in touch. This is something near and dear to my heart. We got to deal with exonerating people that should have never spent the kind of time he spent in jail. It could be you, me, your cousin, your brother. We should not act like this is somebody else's problem. So make sure you get that direct to me. Thank you for your call. Let's take a break. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you are born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that called me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them. Now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old. Went to jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
Democratic presidential candidate, Reverend Al Sharpton.
Thank you. Tonight, I want to address my remarks in two parts. One, I'm honored to address the delegates here. Last Friday, I had the experience in Detroit of hearing President George Bush make a speech. And in the speech, he asked certain questions. I hope he's watching tonight. I would like to answer your questions, Mr. President. To our chairman, our delegates, and all that are assembled, we're honored and glad to be here tonight. I'm glad to be joined by supporters and friends from around the country. I'm glad to be joined by my family, Kathy, Dominique, and Ashley. We are here.
Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. 1-877-532-5797. Antoine Seawright is our co-host. Don't forget, Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MS Now every Saturday and Sunday. And being this is a holiday weekend, I am still going to be live because they don't take off messing with us, and I'm not going to take off dealing with the issues. So we'll be live this Saturday and Sunday on MS Now, formerly known as MSNBC, and you know I always have the best guests, including Antoine Seawright. So we give it to you like it is. You that are in the New York area, we will be having the Saturday Action Rally. If you have relatives, friends coming to town for Thanksgiving weekend, bring them to the rally. I'll be there and be glad to see you, and I want you to be active. We're laying out every week what we're doing, how we do it. People say, I don't know what to do. Well, come to the rally. You'll know. If you're in the New York State, New Jersey, or Connecticut, you can come Saturday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., House of Justice, Lenox Avenue, and 145th Street in Harlem. If you're not in the New York area, you can watch it live on Impact Television, the only black-owned gospel network on cable in the country, or you can watch it on live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net. You that are in the listening area, in the tri-state area, we give away hundreds of free turkeys, and certainly what they have done to federal workers and what they've done to SNAP this year, backing people's money up, as well as people that are homeless or seniors whose budget can't carry it. we invite you that want a turkey. I'll be there at the House of Justice, 145th and Lenox tomorrow, 5 p.m., handing them out myself at our headquarters until the turkeys give out. So come and get your turkey from me if you need that tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. And then Thanksgiving Day, we will, as we have always done, be serving hot meals and having Thanksgiving dinner at the House of Justice. My family and I spend it at the House of Justice starting 11 a.m. We start serving hot meals, everything you could think of, stuff I don't even eat no more, but we serve it. And our elected officials are there, the mayor-elect. I expect him, he says he'll be there. And he was there last year when he was just running for mayor. But Mandani will be there, Governor Hochul and others. And we are inviting you to come have Thanksgiving with us or go to Brooklyn. And we're going at 1 o'clock to Brooklyn, starting 11 o'clock at the House of Justice. And then we go to Brooklyn. And I definitely, and again, you may want to help serve. Some people just come for an hour, 11 to 12, and then go home and do their Thanksgiving preparation. Some come and stay all day. Whatever you can do, we want you to be a part of our Thanksgiving Day, and we use it to really enjoy talking to each other at both the House of Justice and this year, as I said, we're going to John Wesley United Methodist Church at 1 o'clock in Brooklyn, which is at 260 Quincy Street. So it's Harlem in the morning and at 11, and then the afternoon in Brooklyn. Let's go to the phones, Antoine. Let's go to Maryland, to Ronald. Ronald, you're on Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton and Antoine Seawright.
Good afternoon, Reverend Sharpton. Good afternoon, Brother Seawright. I would say that we all have one thing in common. My home state is, I'm from the state of South Carolina originally, even though I live in Maryland. And I'd like to call in today, because it's hot button day, Reverend Sharpton, and talk about some reasons why I think the issue of affordability as it relates to the destruction of the Inflation Reduction Act and the Invest in America agenda that Trump has and the Republicans have targeted and canceled billions of dollars in investment tax credits, as well as grant opportunities, which are impacting rural and urban markets, and how it's impacting the issue of utility bills, as we're being hit with an onslaught of data centers being built around this country. And I think Marjorie Taylor Greene has in her district a corporation called QCell, which is a South Korean corporation which has invested.
It's called QCell?
Yes, sir.
And what does it do? What kind of product does it produce?
They're the largest manufacturer of solar panels in the North American hemisphere. It is a South Korean corporation. They've invested $3.1 billion.
Wow. And they're in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district.
In her district. It's created thousands of job opportunities and creation, but it's only about 60 miles outside of Atlanta, where she's located.
Right.
And what is going on, Rev, you know, the vice president, Kamala, she was the one who gave the deciding vote to pass the Inflation Reduction Act. Well, the whole GOP and Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't vote for it. So now the chickens have come home to roost, because as Trump has rescinded those investment tax credits, billions of dollars of plant manufacturers have stopped in their tracks. And it's a pullback on renewables, and this is where all the job loss is coming on. And Trump can't cover that up with this smoke screen with running to the Caribbean. We are caught between a rock and a hard place. This is an article, Reverend Sharpton, that was published on September the 29th saying, data centers are already increasing your energy bills. We have the receipts. A new analysis from the Union of Concerned Scientists reveals that electricity bills across the PJM region, which is comprised of 13 states in the District of Columbia, but it's also the same impacts are being felt in all nationwide. This went on to say households in 7 states, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Maryland, were on the hook for $4.3 billion in 2024 alone. Utilities are taking advantage of outdated rules to pass these costs to ratepayers instead of charging the companies who are actually driving demand, which is being driven by AI, crypto mining, and blockchain technology. And
let me say, because I don't think we explore this enough, Antoine. Talk to me and then and stay with us, Ronald, about how this whole crypto, AI, the whole industry expansion, some of it unregulated, is playing into fueling a lot of what Trump and his family is not only personally profiting from, but taking care of a lot of their political allies.
$85 million is what the Trump family, including the president himself, have made off the crypto industry, and that number is growing. That's just what we know. That doesn't include some of the other, I would call it.
So we know that he's made $85 million already off of crypto, his family and he.
The family has been made. That's what's been reported in the news.
Right.
You know, as old folks say, I'm not inside their bank account, but that's been reported in the news. But we also know that what they've done to deregulate and not show any interest in regulating interest in the industry shows that it's going to be very, very hard to rein it in once the industry grabs a hold, much like the payday lending industry back in the day, Rev, when so many people fought to try to regulate on the front side, and then it became very problematic for communities of color, and then it got out of hand, and then it was no way it was going to be able to catch up in terms of regulation. Crypto is going to be a large part of our future in this country from a currency standpoint, and I think it should be viewed from a bipartisan lens for some sort of regulation to start to take place. And Rev, to that point, that's why elections are so important, because if folks are overly concerned about the $85 million that Trump has made and others, guess what? If we win this election in 2026, Maxine Waters will be chair of financial services. We will have the ability to do some regulation. Chantel Brown could be the chair of the agriculture committee. That's where a lot of the crypto world spends a lot of time as well. That's 2 African-American women, New Testament and Old Testament, that have the ability to really clamp down on that industry.
So go ahead, Ronald.
Yeah, well, some key takeaways. Electric bills are going up around the country, and some of these increases are due to outdated practice that requires consumers to pay billions of dollars for tech companies and grid connections. Now, what's important about this, Reverend Sharpton, is that in Johnson's district, which is northeast Louisiana, the House,
right
here in the House, Meta is building the largest data center that's going to be built in the North American hemisphere. It's big enough to fit 1,700 football fields in it.
Wow.
Now.
And this is all going in Speaker Johnson's district.
All going in his district. So when you begin to look at, well, how they going to power these data centers where they're using natural gas, turbines. So they're buying outdated coal plants that's been decommissioned, and they are retrofitting them with the gas turbine technology, and that's the payback to the fossil fuel industry, and that's the unholy relationship why they're passing the costs on to us as consumers.
Wow.
We pass these, Rev, on our electricity bills, and this is a real problem. We have 65 million customers in the PJM region, the 13 governors, and
hold on a minute, Ronald. Let me go to break, and I'll hold you over the break. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. C-Right. Be right back.
Hey, Rev.
What?
God
in the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say this song. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Get up. God has smiled on me. He's been good. Then I went on by backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. He has set me free. God smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I went home and I told my mother what Brown told me. And she said, son, even though we don't have much, we don't need relief. All we need is belief. And she said, he didn't tell you no lie, because the Lord will take care of you. God sits high, but he looks down low. And every time you get discouraged, every time you're burning down, all you have to do is think of the things that God made a way for you and look toward the heavens. Lift your eyes to the hills and say, God, 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 don't smile on me. Now then, the God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. That has been so good to me. Yes, he has. I say, God smiled on me. He has set me free. And I know all over the country, smile on me. We need jobs. We need a way to make it. We need help. We need jobs. We need a way to make some money to feed our families and raise our bread. We need a way to survive, so we don't need crime as a survival kit. We just need a little bit. But don't give the hope up. Don't lose the faith, because God will smile on you. God will give you the strength. God will make a way for you. Adam Clayton Powell said, keep the faith. Keep the faith, baby. I hear Robert Kennedy saying that it's not the dream of, but it's the dream that'll live on forever. Just know that God will smile on you. Dr. King had a dream. Dr. King said, I went to the mountaintop, but I didn't stop there. I looked over and saw the promised land. I hear Brother Malcolm saying, don't sit on the stoop. Stand up and be a man. Respect yourself. Be somebody. Then I hear the brothers in the Hispanic community say, I'm going to stand up and be a man. I'm going to do the best I can. I had a reaper say, I don't care what some respect when you get there. Yeah, Lord, your God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God smile on me. You've been so good to me. Sit down. And as we move on in history, let us remember that if we look to God, God has the answer to all of our problems. God is still the same God He was years ago, and we can still make it. We can still hold on like Frederick Douglass did. We can still keep Him on like Martin Luther King did. We can still ride on the way everyone that made it did. They didn't have much, but they had a whole lot of faith. They didn't have money, but they had a lot of determination. We know that God will look out for His children, that God will make a way out of no way. If you just keep the faith and refuse to lose, and God will make a way, because God's children don't have color. God's children just have will. And I can still hear somewhere in my mind James Brown say, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say that. Yeah, Lord. Yeah, Lord.
1, 2, 3, I got the feeling. Hey, baby, baby, I got the feeling. Oh, I got that feeling, yeah. Hey, got that feeling, y'all. Come on. Feeling, baby. Oh, I got the feeling, y'all. Can you put your hands together? I got the feeling. Oh, won't you say, baby, baby, I got that. Thank you so much. My name is True Osborne. Humbled and honored. All right.
So good. That was beautiful. Thank you, everyone. I am humbled and grateful.
You lost her.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Antoine Seawright is our co-host. Antoine, in the middle of all of what is going on from the judge overturning the indictments today to saying that the acting U.S. attorney should never have been appointed, we see Marjorie Taylor Greene announcing her resignation. All of the drama around Zoran going down meet with the president. The through line on this, though, is that if people do not get out and vote and use this Thanksgiving week as their family members gather to talk about voting, we will be disappointed in the midterm election. And if we come out and vote and we win the midterm election, you'll have Hakeem Jeffries as the speaker, and you'll have, as you said, Congresswoman Brown, Congresswoman Waters, and others in position to be empowered. Explain to people what a speaker could do if we get Hakeem in, which means the Democrats take the majority of the House of Representatives, and what chairmen of these committees can do, because I think a lot of our listeners don't understand the function of that. Speaker is not just a title. Chair of these committees is not just a title. They decide agendas that directly impact our lives.
Well, outside of being the most powerful Democrat in the country and third in line to the president and being the first African-American to hold a job, the speaker essentially is the time manager and the game manager of the game because he gets to control the agenda. And with a Speaker Jeffries also comes along Assistant Speaker Joe Neguse, 41-year-old African-American from Colorado, Greg Meeks, Chair of Foreign Affairs Committee, if you care about foreign affairs, Maxine Waters, Chair of Financial Services, Benny Thompson, Chair of Homeland Security, Chantel Brown, Chair of Agriculture Committee in the United States Congress, as well as Bobby Scott, Chairman of Ed and Labor, not to mention all the subcommittees. So that means that you have at least 6 or 7 African Americans controlling the legislative agenda in the House and what those priorities are. That means communities getting things that have been neglected and left out. That means being able to take a position and being able to control the position on something that may come out of this White House. Not to mention we get to cut the legislative presidency of Donald Trump into half one more time. And so I think it's so important. But, Rev, one of the most important things we can do this week is, one, actually start to talk politics and have these conversations about what's real and what's not. And quite frankly, the most expensive automobile to drive this week in America is the buggy in the grocery store. Why? Because beef, poultry, eggs, bread, milk, and everything else is up. Unemployment in the black community, up. Inflation, up. Everything that Donald Trump promised is up. Consumer confidence, down. This would be one of the most less productive Black Fridays we've had in a long time, including holiday hiring is down. And so places where we need to be up, we're down, and places where we need to be down, we're up. That's a direct sign of the failure that MAGAnomics has become.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm challenging people, use the holiday gathering to talk about this. And I don't mean berate people. I don't mean become to appear as arrogant that you know more than the rest of the family. But you know how to ease in a conversation that could bring this back to, we need to be able to do more. We need to be able to make sure everybody votes. We need to talk about some of these issues. You know how you used to do when you wanted your mama or daddy to do something. Ease it in that way, but we should use all of these holiday gatherings as educational forums and engagement. One of the things I always tell people, though, is do it as a family member. Don't act like all your cousins and brothers and sisters are stupid. And some may be, but don't let them know you feel that way. Come with a way, that will benefit, because we need all hands on deck. All right, let's go back
to Rev, I would just say to them, when you're having these conversations, live by the words KISS. Keep it simple, see right, keep it simple, Sharpton. You don't have to get into granular technical things that people don't understand, because as humans, we naturally run away from what we don't understand. But if people are mad about the price of groceries in the store that you're eating over Thanksgiving, or the gas it took to get to the gathering, or the prices on Black Friday items thanks to those tariffs, that's enough all by itself to say a whole lot of grace over for Thanksgiving. And so we've got to simplify the simple and really do it in a high-touch way. And if we don't before we say the prayer at Thanksgiving. Everybody listening to this program should ask their cousins, family members, enemies, neighbors, are you registered to vote? And
That's
we need a
right.
commitment that you are going to vote. We have to use this as an engagement opportunity, not just engaging with the food on the table.
I love it. I love it. Now I'm looking at our message board. Hadn't gone to it in a minute. Taniqua Bwimbley says Nan should create a family board game to play for the holiday. Wow, I wish you had told me that earlier. I'd get somebody. Well, maybe we can get it by Christmas. I like that. I like that a lot. I love that a lot. You got Jay, my boss lady in here that does the engineering, shaking her head. That's a good idea, ain't it, Jay? And then we got Tricia saying very powerful leadership positions protect our black leaders from attacks from black right and left. And I think that is important, what Tricia's saying here, Antoine, because we see too many of our blacks in positions of power in Congress. You ran the roll down, that are getting hit by the right and the left. And I keep telling people, because you know I just don't care, when they talk about, well, the progressives, progressive to who? A lot of these progressives are progressive on issues that don't include us and never been involved with us. So, I mean, the progressive as a noun doesn't give me an explanation as an adjective. You've not been progressive on our issues, and now you want to hold us to some kind of measuring stick that you have. I mean, I guess the best way I used to say it, Antoine, is we are not looking for better slave masters. We're looking for freedom. I'm not taking orders from the progressives or the conservatives, and I think that's important. Let's go to Norm.
And Rev, can I say one thing really quickly while we talk about what's at stake in Washington? I think that's important. But what we found out a few weeks ago, these down ballot races are just important. Where people like Westmore, Josh Shapiro, Roy Cooper in North Carolina, all these other races that are on the ballot, from governor to mayor to school board to county commissioner, city and water, prosecutors, those things are vitally important next year as well. And we've got to focus on the focus.
Focus on the focus. Let's go to Norm in DeSantisburg. He calls that state of Florida DeSantisburg. Norm, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hey, how you doing, Reverend?
I'm doing good.
I'm still here, but your guest was right on point with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Her rhetoric has caught up with her foolishness, and seeing that they talk a good game, and they see that they've got the government, and the governing has failed. They failed on health care. They've tried to blame all folks for the economy, when in fact they themselves have destroyed this economy and destroyed the reputation of the country, and these have been bring back the days of old and those sort of things. So, more of them are going to come to that realization that Trump is only using them, because Trump doesn't do them any good. He's just taking that which that is inherent in this country, is racism, used, exploited, so that he can get elected, do what he wants to, steal all the people's money, and fool you by shouting the N-word loudest. And in the end, you have nothing but a natural bowler and crook. And when we cannot be afraid to call the people, media's, they are afraid to even call it, man. When you speak the truth, so I see you on Morning Joe and them, so you speak the truth. And some of those guys just look at you and you said every day you point out some aspect of what he promised and what he has failed to deliver, and that's all we can. That's what we can do. That
and we got to keep doing it. We definitely got to keep doing it, Norm.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your call. Always good to hear your voice. Let's go to Leon in Dallas, Texas, right after the break. We're going to take our break. We'll be right back. Sharpton, See Right, Hot Button Monday. Be right back.
Evidence that I take, you will be there. Evidence that I make, we'll be together. Evidence that I take, you will be there. Evidence that I make, we'll be together. Evidence that I take.
Whew. Thank you so much. I was thinking I was going to prepare a speech, but I can't read those things anymore. Name's Babyface, not Baby Body. But I wanted to, you made me sound so good with those words. I was like, that was me? I was like, when I look at my life and I think of the music and everything that I've done, I used to say that I don't know where it came from. I don't know where the words come from. I don't know where the music comes from. I don't know how I got here where I am, but that's not true. God got me here. This is and it becomes more clear to me every day that's why I'm here. And I don't even know how I ended up standing here, except for the fact that I ran into Al at the Essence. He was walking in the room, and I said, I got to go say hello. And he said, I want to honor you. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah, I want to honor you. I said, really? Yep. And here I am standing here, and I could only thank you. I always want to do this, Michael. I love you too. Sorry. But I think of moments like this, I can't help but just think of how proud my mom would be for me to stand here. I have to say that just to be standing here and to be invited by Al Sharpton, and I want you guys to really think about this man who invited me here and how he has been fighting the fight for us all of these years. I don't think we give him enough credit. I don't think we give him enough love. Sometimes you just get used to people and you think, well, that's just Al. No. He's more than that. I want y'all to give him really love. Come on, let's give him. It's very true. Because I can remember times, I'm 67 years old, I can remember times in Indianapolis, Indiana. Yeah, it's true, I'm 67. And I can remember times in Indianapolis when I was growing up, and there were places before I was 5 years old that I could not go to because I was black. And I remember how civil rights, how that changed everything for me and for my life, and that I'm standing here today because of all of those changes, and I was able to do the kind of music that I do and do everything because of those things happened. And so for me to accept an award like this, because I've never gotten an award like this before, and so I really appreciate it, and I'm just so thankful, and I thank my mom for giving me the sense to always be humble with my life and to never think that it's all about me. And so like I said, I didn't prepare a speech. I always just wanted to speak from my heart. And I'm speaking from my heart, and I want to tell you once again, Al Sharpton, you are a blessing to us all, and I thank you for inviting me for this, and thank you so much. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
And I think that is extremely important about the funding. But I also want to add how they're changing what can be taught. You have states outright saying you can't teach black history and you can't teach certain other histories and the curriculum. You have this administration that is literally taking out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes blacks. We don't want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight in the courts and the streets, because they're literally changing the textbooks as we go. As they do that, they change the opportunities, because then the fight against affirmative action is not having access to these institutions and telling these institutions, this whole fight around DEI, which they did, started in Harvard with a black woman president. Started with them saying you can't teach diversity in an Ivy League school like Harvard. It didn't start in Little Rock at the high school. This fight, this time, was Harvard. And they went from there on. And I think that we've got to have the same resistance. If they could fight in the 50s, at ACP with the Defense Fund together and deal with the question from Little Rock in terms of desegregation, then we that are far more educated, far more economically secure personally, have no excuse in the age of what they did in Harvard not to be standing up back in this.
We have a short visit today. So we just wanted to greet you all and thank you for allowing us in. Yes, sir. We were with Gold. Yeah, we was here.
They were on the plantation.
Right, our family was on the plantation. Wow. And that's, of course, that's the slave house. That's one of the slave houses. Good to see you again, sir. It's been 13 years.
That's right.
Good to
How
see
you been?
Doing fine. Last time, and we
Alexander Sharpton. How many slaves were staying there?
I have no idea.
This is where they would have a slave.
Yeah, that's when exactly. That was exactly.
The two people that most influenced my life were from South Carolina, James and Jesse. Jesse Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Antoine Seawright is our co-host. And let me Say again, we're going to the phones, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. And I see Rodney Jones, the mayor of Queensbridge Houses, saying MLK was Democratic Socialist. How soon we forget. It's like McCarthyism all over again. Joe McCarthy labeled MLK a communist. So did J. Edgar Hoover, by the way, Mr. Mayor. When you label someone, whether it be false, some believe the lie. And then I see Fleming says on message board, Jay Fleming says the dining room table is a powerful platform. Absolutely right. That's what I'm trying to get people to do, is use these gatherings to really be a platform to ease in conversations with your relatives, and you know who they are, that are not that conscious, not that up to date. A lot of them are not bad people, they just misinformed. Antoine, before I go to Leon, if you could advise our audience on what are the 2 or 3 critical issues that we need to ease into our Thanksgiving conversation that's not complicated. Like you said, keep it simple. How do we ease it in and let them understand that the nature of the hour and at the same time how we're suffering without looking like we're having a rally at the dining room table?
They got to start out by saying, everybody, we're going to kiss. And when they say, what the world, they got to say, keep it simple, Sharpton and C-Right style. That's what KISS stands for. But secondly, Rev, we've got to just make it about affordability and pick your side, your Thanksgiving political side when it comes to affordability. If it's health care, let them know because of Donald Trump and the Republicans in Washington, my health insurance that was once $8,000 a year per person is going to go up to $28,000 to $32,000 per person, and we're going to see hospitals close, nursing home close, and community health centers close in our neighborhoods early into next year. Not to mention, they did the largest cut to Medicaid in American history in that big ugly bill. If it's food affordability, talk about how Thanksgiving meals are priced at the highest point they've been since 2003, including 40% more for things like turkey. Beef is up, bread is up, milk is up, eggs is up, frustration is up. You can talk about that. If it's shopping, you talk about every item that people are going to buy on Black Friday or either Cyber Monday is going to be more expensive because of Donald Trump and his tariffs. Make it about affordability, Reverend Al. That's the most important thing. And then if you get really, really simple, or you want to have a second turkey leg to pull to talk about, certainly we should be talking about SNAP benefits, because there's no reason why 25,000 active duty soldiers should be on SNAP benefits. There's no reason why we should have active duty soldiers in line at food banks all across the country. Rev, I'm not sure if you saw the news, but down in Columbia, South Carolina, the food bank was actually robbed over the weekend.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's how tough things are in this country. And so we've got to talk about things like SNAP benefits and why those things matter, not just to people who, not just the perception of what Donald Trump and others want to and make it about.
And when you rob the food bank, that in of itself gives you a State of the Union message where we are, where people will rob food. And yeah, they may sell it. I don't know what they're doing, but it gives you a State of the Union. Let's go to Leon in Dallas, Texas. Leon.
Good afternoon, Reverend Al and Mr. C-Wright. Reverend Al, we've been talking about this economic development thing for over a year now. And you're familiar with the business plan I sent you. But I wanted to talk a little bit about this local government and juxtapose what I would call a tale of two cities to demonstrate what I'm talking about. Let's compare New York to Dallas. Well, New York has about 3.5% of the businesses are African American owned. Well, Dallas is 2%. New York has a $112 billion annual budget, and Dallas has a 5.2 or $3 billion annual budget. Let's talk about New York. Just think if they would take 1%, a penny of a dollar, of that budget and devote it to business and economic development in the African American community.
Right.
For African Americans, that would be $1,200,000 some odd $200 million in 1 year. Okay, and when you juxtapose that to Dallas, it would be a proportional number. So when I go to City Hall to try to advocate for some of this tax dollars, and I put these figures out there, I don't really have any support. I was down there 3 weeks ago, and I'm saying, well, let's take this building, let's put 300, 200, whatever number of African-American businesses in there. They let me speak my 3 minutes, but that's it. Then they go on and start talking about other issues because I don't have any support. When white organizations want something from the city, they have one person after another person after another person after another person to advocate the same thing. And what I'm saying is, if we want our fair share of this money that we are paying in taxes from city government, something that we are directly, impacted by, much more so than state government, much more so than federal government, we need to advocate for it stronger. I mean,
yeah. Well, I think you hit something critical. That's why I did the March on Wall Street. We need to put focus on the economics of this. What I've said to Mandani and any other official, the winner Cheryl in New Jersey, where I was this morning, is we don't want philanthropy. We want business, and they can earmark contracts. Look at all the development. As I travel around the country, you go in black areas and they're digging up, detour because construction. We don't get any of those construction contracts, and we're the taxpayers. We do not think economic. And that's why I've tried to start gearing people toward Wall Street, toward going to these city hall meetings, is that we are acting as beggars when we are taxpayers, and they're taking our money and taking care of everybody but us. And we think it's important if we get a job. If we get the contracts, we can give out the jobs. People can work in their own companies. And that's the mentality that we've got to get in our people. That's why I want to work with you. I know I haven't got to Dallas yet, but because all kind of stuff been happening. But I'm going to get there. Right. We really, really need to change our psyche from being renters to owners, from being consumers to being business people. And the union dues that we've paid and the municipal, state, and federal taxes we pay is the leverage we ought to be using to get that money recycled. We don't understand we are investing in our own demise.
Yeah. And I want to thank you, Al, for at least taking me seriously and looking to see that, this can be a reality if we take the similar steps that our forefathers took when they desegregated buses in Birmingham, for instance. Montgomery. They had a plan, they implemented the plan, and they stuck to the plan until it started having an effect, and it caused the bus company to say, okay, we're going to let you guys ride where you want to because you are paying a lion's share of what our budget is.
It was economic. They never changed their attitude about black folks. They changed the attitude about going out of business.
Right. And since we already have the wheels been created, we've been dissuaded from using our tried and true tactics that have produced results. And we keep saying, well, I mean, when I talk to some people, they come up with, they tell me they've lost the game before they've even gotten off the bus, as to use a football cliche. And I'm saying that I have had experience with personal things that I have done, just advocating myself, that have created results.
No, we got to do this.
What if I had other people who did the same thing?
We need to do it nationwide. Thank you for your call. I'm promise I'm gonna get to Dallas. With Reverend Jackson getting, and I had the detour, and I've got 2 funerals out. I'm gonna get there though. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton, see right. Be right back. I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors. But there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talents in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones, and too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I help formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughter started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready, or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others, the way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself.
future without a church.
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
Racial discord, a blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host.
Reverend Al Sharpton. Keeping it real. Antoine Seawright is our co-host. Don't forget Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, live at 5 p.m. every Saturday and Sunday. And I will be live this Thanksgiving weekend. I'm sure there's going to be a lot happening. And we already see the week starting with the judge in Virginia knocking out the indictments on both Comey and Tish James. We'll see where that goes. Are they reinstated? Where that goes, we'll see where the next steps are with Marjorie Taylor Greene, on and on and on. And we'll recap what happened Thanksgiving Day, how these prices affected. So watch Politics Nation both nights. I'll be live Saturday and Sunday on MS Now, formerly known as MSNBC. Then you that are visiting or in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, meet us at the Saturday Action Rally. I'll be there looking for you. We'll be there Thanksgiving weekend, and you got cousins and friends coming in. Say, let's go down and see Rev Mal, and I'd be glad to meet you and be a part of the Saturday Action Rally, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the House of Justice, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue, 145th and Lenox. And, of course, you that are in the tri-state area, tomorrow, Tuesday, we'll be giving away free turkeys at the House of Justice, 145th and Lenox, starting at 5 o'clock p.m. I'll be there. As soon as I get off there, I'll run uptown, be there, and we'll give until we run out. We give away hundreds, if not a couple of thousand turkeys every year. Then on Thanksgiving Day, if you're homeless, if you're a senior, don't have family in the New York area, New Jersey area, Connecticut area, if you are someone that just fell on hard times, come have Thanksgiving dinner with us. We starting at 11 o'clock, right the same place, House of Justice. I spend my Thanksgiving there at the House of Justice, having meals, serving meals. I know that the mayor-elect, Mandani, is going to be there with us, and other elected officials, the governor and others, be a part of it. And some of you say, well, Rev Mal, I got a good meal. I want to come help serve. I need more servers. And in order to sign up, you can call our toll-free number, 1-877-626-4651, 1-877-626-4651. Put yourself on the service list, or say, I need to be on the list, make sure I get a meal. They're at the phone right now, 1-877-626-4651. All right, let's go to Deshaun in DMV. Deshaun.
Hello?
Yes.
Hey, this is Sly from Detroit.
All right. Go ahead.
Well, since you got me, I just wanted to know: are you aware of the two white guys from Texas that are being indicted for plotting to overthrow an island off of Haiti, kill all the black men, and take the black women and children as slaves? And they wanted to also use they wanted to go to D.C. and take the homeless people and use them in their little group. Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not. They indicted them where? In what state were they indicted?
Texas. They're from North Texas. They're two young men in their 20s. One was actually talking about joining the Air Force in order to get training to do so.
And
okay,
and now they've been indicted by the federal government?
Yes, sir. Supposedly they were indicted today. Okay, this just
I'm trying to pull it up.
Came across.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
I am pulling it up. Thank you for that information. I had not seen it. Thank you very much for your call. That's amazing. I mean, the hate crimes that has been at an increase, Antoine, has almost not been talked about, but it is extremely disturbing.
Well, Rev, I can tell you this. I say this with a shameful voice. South Carolina is one of two states in the country that do not have hate crimes legislation on the books at the state level. Of course, we know, thanks to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, we know there was the federal lynching legislation during the Biden-Harris administration, but there's still two states in the union that do not have hate crime legislation on the books at the state level. So when we talk about elections and we talk about all the things at the federal level, that's why these local pieces of legislation and legislators matter just as much. You know what happened with Dylan Roof, who wants a certified white supremacist, who want to start a race war with killing 9 people in Charleston. And that Charlie Kirk was killed in South Carolina on a college campus. Unfortunately, the accuser or the person who did the shooting would not have been charged with a hate crime in our state. And so we've got to also, while we lean in at the federal level, we've got to get some muscle mass and muscle memory at the local level as well.
No doubt about that. Let's go to Luke in Washington, D.C. Luke.
Excuse me. Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Dr. Sharpton, Reverend Sharpton.
Good afternoon.
I'm gonna do like Miss Eunice and Rick. I'm gonna say what I have to say, and I'm gonna clear the line so the other folk can comment. I haven't called in a while, but I've been listening. Anyone else going into the White House would have followed proper protocol and doing anything to the White House in terms of renovation. That building belonged to the people of the United States, not to the Trump clan.
Right.
And they are just not saying anything about the damage that he has done to the people's house. Moving on, they should have kept the issue about the files that he had stored in the basement of Mar-a-Lago. That should still be kept in the forefront. What were his intentions on having all that classified information kept in the White House? Mar-a-Lago in the basement. Nothing was done to pursue that. Any building that you go into as a tenant, you don't have the right to alter the building without proper approval of the owners of the building. In this case of the White House, the People's House. Nothing has been done or kept on the table about that. And that's a serious concern for me. A president calling a member of the press out of her name Miss Piggy.
Yeah.
What kind of leader is this where you single adults out and act like you're a kid, or I shouldn't say a kid on the playground because they don't act like that.
Right.
But calling people out of their name. This type of stuff should be kept in the forefront to show that this individual is not a leader for this country. I'm convinced that he does not like the United States. He is set out to try to bring this country down. We're losing respect among our allies because of this type of behavior from him. As a veteran, I don't understand why veterans are following him. He did not fulfill his military obligation. He called some of the deceased veterans losers. How do veterans, I'm a veteran. I did my 7 years, 4 years active duty, 3 years in the reserve, and fulfill my obligation. None of his folk were going to the military. None of his sons, but yet they want to direct where our forces go, putting them in harm's way. That's all I have to say, Reverend Al. I'll sit back and let the other folk have it, and I'll just listen.
All right, well, you said a lot. You said a lot. Antoine, you want to respond before we have to go? I think he put a lot out there.
No, Rev, I just want to say I'm thankful for this holiday season for you and your support and your mentorship and what you do to try to be a safety pin to hold our community and this country together and the movement, because we know the movement has not stopped. And for everybody out there, happy Thanksgiving. And just know that, as Dr. King declared in 1968, we have some difficult days ahead of us. But if we keep the faith and stay focused on the focus and prioritize the priorities, I got a feeling, Rev, everything will be all right.
Well, I got the same feeling, and I want you to know that you're in our prayers, you and your family, as you deal in this holiday season with the passing of your father. And I think that you are an example. We can see him in you, and that should make him proud and make you feel that you vindicated his investment in you. So thank you, and give your family our prayers through this period of loss. Let me thank all of you that called in, and listened in, and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Whatever you do, keep it real. I'll talk